Hey everybody, just doing a little afternoon chill thing here. Of course, we are just as constrained as everybody else is, so I don't have to limit my live streams to the evening when I get home from work. I can do some during the day now. So years and years and years ago, in a time before the internet, we had things called bulletin board systems, BBSs, and you would dial them up and you would talk to people there and get the information off there, and it was text-based. And then you would hang up and you would dial up another one to talk about a totally different kind of thing. So on one of them, called Execunet, which was a sort of a national one, it was sort of a precursor to CompuServe, actually. I found this document, and I have verified its authenticity. And when I found it, I printed it out, on the paper that has the holes on the side of it, because it was a 9-pin dot matrix printer. And what I have here in my folder of good things is something called the Batman Writer's Bible, written by J. Michael Straczynski. And this was dated 1987. So this is pre-Bruce Timm. And this was a series that you never saw. This was submitted to Nelvana Productions. And it's a lot of pages here. It's over 50 pages of print here. Not double-sided. Double-sided on a dot matrix printer. Who are you thinking? Come on. But it's got an introduction, and and it goes deeper than that. It goes actually into some episodic summaries for what he wanted to do, and it talks about all the different characters and how they would play into the show. I don't want to read it all from the beginning because we know a lot of that. Let's see here. We know the origin of Batman and all of that good stuff. So let's see where I can find a good jumping in point. In his role of crime fighter and defender of Gotham City, the Batman has faced and continues to face a fantastic range of adventures. From the streets of the city to the depths of space, from the mundane to the magical, from science to superstition, the threats and adventures continue to come, usually accompanied by an assortment of strange villains. But they can wait. There's someone else we must meet first. Robin, or more accurately, the new Robin. For many years, Batman worked with his young ward, Dick Grayson. As Robin, they tackled crime side by side, daring an adventure together. But young wards have a habit of growing up. Eventually, Dick Grayson matured, and a time came when he knew that he had to leave Batman's shadow and strike out on his own. This he did, assuming the alter ego of Nightwing, whose costume, perhaps not accidentally, somewhat resembles Batman's. For quite some time thereafter, the Batman operated alone, but the void in his life previously filled by Dick Grayson gnawed at him. This need, this relationship, is the key element in the Batman's nature and the adventures that will make up this series. Don Quixote needed his Sancho Panza, Sherlock Holmes needed his Watson, and the Batman needs a Robin. In the absence of a Robin, he tends toward a grim, relentless sort of attitude. Robin is needed to lighten his load, make him smile, remind him that there is light amidst the darkness. Everything about Robin is different. If one stops to consider it, the color of his uniform are bright and cheerful, in stark contrast to the somber blue and gray of Batman's cowl and costume. By nature, a Robin is associated with sunshine and cheer, a portent of bright days. A bat is a thing of shadows and fear, a harbinger of ill tidings for some. The old wisdom still holds true. Opposites attract. But for several years, there was no opposite, no light side to balance out the dark. Then, a little over a year ago, as this is being written, something remarkable happened. Late one night, while returning from the scene of a crime, Batman turned a corner and made a startling discovery. Someone had boosted the Batmobile, taken the tires and the hubcaps and anything else that wasn't nailed down. He could only stand there, jaw agape. It took several seconds for the immensity, the absurdity of his situation to sink in. Someone stole his tires. His tires. From the Batmobile. It didn't take long for the world's greatest detective to track down the offender. His name, Jason Todd, an orphan. Around 12 or 14 years old, Jason was a street kid, but smart, wily, with a sense of humor and irony. He would have preferred to live straight, but there aren't many ways for a kid on his own to make money. Boosting cars was one way. And we've seen all of this. This is stuff that was in the comics. Let's see. So much here. I don't want to, like I said, I wanted to read it from the beginning. Oh, here's something you didn't get in Batman the Animated Series. Miss Chandra. To Jason, Bruce Wayne is father figure, mentor, guide, and trainer. But there are still elements necessary to a boy's growth that are missing from that description. Bruce's relationship with Dick Grayson is good, but strained at times, and Bruce has wondered more than once if the lack of a woman in the Wayne household was a factor. This time around, he has made the assumption that it was. And Bruce Wayne never makes the same mistake twice. Result? Miss Chandra. Not long after Jason's arrival at Wayne Manor, Bruce makes a call to a friend who has a lot of experience with mechanical people, androids, and the like. Jason overhears part of the conversation, but Bruce won't explain, says it's a surprise for him and nothing more. A few days later, in the middle of the night, a long crate arrives mysteriously in the sealed Batcave. The only clue to its origin, a bright S burned in one end. We cannot use Superman in this show, but a nice throwaway reference would be nice, and surely within legal parameters. Inside is Miss Chandra. Chandra is the Hindu name for the moon, fitting for a world whose foremost symbol is the bat. And if you're Miss Chandra is the closest thing ever created to an independently functioning artificial person. Her hair is jet black, but with a thin streak of silver running from forehead to back. What would have once been called a handsome woman, apparently in her late 50s. She is Jason's custom-designed, all-purpose nanny. At first, he's a little put off by her, knowing she's not real. But she is feeling and wise and funny, and is always willing to help or listen at any time of the day or night. She doesn't dote or berate or complain. She is like the wisest of mothers who knows how much rope to give her young charge, when to listen and when to speak. The sort of mother one willingly confides in. In time, she grows into surrogate mother, confidant, and companion for Jason, who eventually accepts her into his life. He realizes that he can tell her anything, and she will never judge him, only help him. Schoolwork, girls, exercise, food, the difficulty of trying to keep up with Batman, she is there to listen to all of it, and help when invited. With Batman, we see a very knowing side to her character. She has quite a bit of knowledge, and at times, Batman wonders just how much personality and knowledge she's been programmed for. She surprises him quite often, and when asked how she happened to know about something, she'll just shrug it off and say it was perfectly obvious. After a while, one begins to suspect that she's far more human than even Batman realizes. So that's one of the things you would have got in the Batman animated series was Richie Rich's Irona the Robot Maid. I don't know. We might touch back on this. It's a lot to read, so we will read through it. I'll try to glean some better stuff out of it and just see what comes out of it that we can throw up there. It might be interesting to see.